Hello, everyone. This is Linda Ferguson.
And Karen Nelson Bell.
And welcome to another episode of Platinum Prime for Life, where Karen and I share our tips, tricks, and life hacks in order to live a Platinum Prime life. Now, I just want to say something here. Living a Platinum Prime life takes work, doesn't it?
Is that?
Like, you can't just wake up and go throughout the day. So one of the aspects of living life is how you choose the emotions to face a day. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because Miss Karen here is probably one of the finest people I know, that if the world is giving you a frowny day, you very much pause and you choose to figure out and address that day with optimism. Is this correct?
Obviously, we did not discuss what we were going to talk about today, which often happens, Linda just surprises me, or maybe I'll surprise her. But what you just said, maybe it's true. I suppose it's true because I do have little mechanisms in place to make sure that I don't go down with the ship. If the ship is going down, I'm going to find a lifeboat and sail away to the Bahamas or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I can say from being your friend for many years that you are probably one of the finest examples of someone who chooses optimism as a path to live their life. And because you have, I'm going to tell you something that is pretty cool.
Okay.
You are going to live longer because of that choice that you've had in place for as long as I've known you.
Really? Science? We got science?
Science.
All
yes.
right.
Today, our show is all about how does living an optimistic life versus a pessimistic life affect your longevity. And isn't it nice to know that something that you long ago decided that was a better way to live actually is adding years to your life? This is actually from a peer-reviewed study posted in PubMed, and I'm actually going to share it with y'all right now. Optimism is associated with exceptional longevity in two, I say this word wrong, epidemiologic. Oh, good.
Good job.
Cohorts of men and women. Two studies of two different groups of men and women studied. And why don't we just clear up what the hell those words mean? Because what does optimism mean? What does pessimism mean? And what does cohort mean?
And maybe you better go over epidemiological.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
Why couldn't you pronounce it? Well, maybe we need to clear that one too.
I don't actually hear it being used. Maybe I just blank it out, right?
Yeah.
But let's check it out. Let's start out with that because why?
Okay.
That's the first thing I couldn't say in this. Okay. We're going to let you. How do you say it, Karen?
Well, it's epidemiology is the study of, and that's what you want to find out. What is it the study of?
Epidemiologic is a subject. So it's a study and analysis of the distribution, patterns, causes, and effects of health and disease conditions in defined populations.
Yay. That's exactly
defined populations. Okay, good. So
like the Blue Zone study, which is pretty famous for people who study health. That was an epidemiological study.
Okay, good.
You
Glad you
studied,
could say it.
if you studied the food habits of Southerners versus the food habits of Northerners, then that would be a study using
That's good.
epidemiology.
Okay, excellent.
That,
So, cohort
a cohort
definition.
companion in the same, like, if we're going to both rob a bank, you're my cohort.
Yeah. So, here's a definition.
Okay.
We're just going to bypass robbing banks right now. But a cohort is a group of people sharing a common characteristic, experience, or trait. For example, birth year, graduation year, or study participants. It commonly refers to a group of supporters, companions, or in statistics, a demographic group tracked over time.
Yeah.
So it's a slightly different than I'm your cohort because that is
Well,
the correct definition as well.
I have heard the word. I will do a deep dive later. I've set my AI buddy, my companion. I've set him up to define words in great depth, and I will bet you that
Sure.
somewhere along the way there is a definition that implies that the cohorts are doing something naughty.
Yes, totally. So synonyms include group, company, batch, category, set, or in a negative context, which that was, accomplice or confederate.
Accomplice. That's right. I
Mhm.
thought it was a synonym for accomplice. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now here is a pessimist. And the very famous example is this a glass that's half empty or a glass that's half full? So pessimism, pessimist. Pessimist is a person who has a tendency to see the worst aspect of things or believe that the worst will happen, a lack of hope or confidence in the future. And then an optimist or optimism is hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something.
Would you like to hear a story that I've heard for a long time and is kind of cute, and it demonstrates
Sure.
it's not the glass half full glass. Now, other people might have heard this before, but when you're a child, you've already become maybe a pessimist or an optimist. And there was this little boy, and he went to his bedroom, and the bedroom was filled all the way up, almost to the top, with poop. It was filled with poop, and so the little boy says, "Oh no, my room is filled with poop," and that's the pessimist, right? But the optimist little boy went, "Oh my gosh, where's the pony?"
Karen, I've never heard that story before.
You never heard that?
No.
Well,
That is totally, that's a joke, pessimist, optimist, but it's funny.
it's true.
It's funny. All right, so let's actually return to this very interesting study. So it's a core cohort of men and women they have studied, and they're looking at who in the group was pessimistic and who was optimistic. And it says optimism is associated with exceptional longevity in two different studies, basically. This was done in 2019. That's when it was published. But there are a couple of things that I thought were interesting about this article. So there's a revised optimism pessimism scale. There's actually a scale that they measure these guys against. Exceptional longevity is defined as survival to age 85 or older. Okay. Well, we're both going to be exceptional then, you especially. And then there's talking about lifespan. So, for example, adjusting for demographics and health conditions, women in the highest versus lowest optimism quartile had 14.9% longer lifespan. The optimists lived 15% longer than the pessimists, which I thought was actually really, really cool. And it was similar with men. Okay. So now let me ask you, because you and I, when we talk, sometimes we usually talk about good things, but sometimes it's about challenges in life. And then you say, okay, this challenge sucks, whatever, if it's a personal challenge or it's, a sociological challenge, whatever it is. And then you go, but I choose to. So tell me about that process for you.
Um, I had I came to an aha moment in about 2009, I think, or so thereabouts, and I was doing some self improvement or self empowerment stuff, and I was trying to dig in and remove baggage. You know what baggage is, right? And I was trying to remove some baggage, and I in my exploration of my own baggage, somehow or another, I came upon this realization that you could choose. And I think it was possibly triggered by a friend of mine. She's from the Philippines, and we worked together for a short time. That's how come I happened to sing in Tagalog, which is the Filipino language. And she had something very, very bad happen to her. And when I spoke with her after, like a day after that bad thing had happened, and she was pretty cheerful, and I said, how do you manage to be so cheerful today? She said, well, I figured I could choose. You could choose to be happy, or I could choose to be sad or unhappy or angry or whatever. And I just decided I was going to choose to be happy. And I thought she had not particularly spent the time I had like trying to remove baggage. She just was a person living her life. And she said, I just chose to be happy. And that hit home to me. It just said, well, if she can do it, maybe I can do it. And I think it just took making that decision that you could decide, saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to choose the right emotion for the right circumstance. If if something horrible happens, I'm going to have the right emotion for that, but I'm not going to hang on to it. I'm going to experience that emotion. I had a friend, we both had a friend pass, and I experienced grief. Well, that would be really weird and awkward if I didn't, but then afterwards I chose to kind of come back to neutral at least. And then gradually now there's going to be a beautiful, fantastic, aesthetic memorial. And I'm starting to come even higher than just normal. And I said, I'm going to choose not to be crying all the time. That's just, I think it might boil down to choosing. Also, I have mechanisms in place to help me yank myself up when I'm need a yank. When somebody needs to yank my chain, I try to yank it myself. And one of the things is I take a walk, or I sing a song, or I write I go to the piano. The best thing for me, that was how I survived becoming a widow when Duncan passed. And I just would sit at the piano and make up music, and creating some aesthetics, and singing was the thing. And of course, singing improves your vagus nerve, the nerve that comes from the back of your brainstem and comes down the front. And it's like your major nerve, and you're supposed to take good care of it. And you're supposed to hum to take care of your vagus nerves. I do better than that. I don't hum. I sing all the time, right? And so you and I have very healthy vagus, not Las Vegas, not VEGAS, VAG.
In your case, though, vagus nerve might also apply.
I have a Las Vegas nerve. So those are the things.
Really, really good. So that's an important clarification that Karen just said. So an optimist isn't someone who ignores what's going on in life.
Yeah.
But it's someone who believes that whatever's going on in life can somehow be managed, and that those are temporary things. This too shall pass, right? And chooses to live a life that uplifts them and by doing that, uplifts others as well.
Yeah. I do save quotes, and the quotes help. Even finding quotes on Facebook or this or that. I'm a big fan of good quotes. And there is a quote that said, tough times don't last, tough people do. That would be an optimistic statement. In face of adversity, tough times don't last. One hopes tough times don't last. They probably don't ever last forever.
Now, so a pessimist with this same kind of stuff going on, and again, one of our recent earlier shows had to do with the fact that the older you get, the more you have friends departing.
Yeah.
And it actually, at first it's like maybe one or two, and then you start hearing continuous news, so-and-so just died or has a disease and isn't expected to live. And so in the face of all of that, staying optimistic can be challenging, along with all the noise that's happening in the world. And the world is noisier today than it ever was when I was younger.
That's right.
So, it has its own challenges, but the point is being centered. In other words, one, feeling grounded yourself, and then realizing that anything you're looking at has a temporary length of time can go a long way into helping you be optimistic about the future versus this is always happening, things are getting worse, nothing really helps, why even try? Which is what a pessimist would do.
That's right. Do you remember, are you old enough to know who George Burns is?
Yes. We're 10 years apart, Karen.
Well, that could make all the difference. I was an opening act for Don Rickles. You'd be surprised how many people don't have a clue who Don Rickles is. You do, right? You know who Don Rickles is.
Of course.
That was my first job in Vegas, was as an opening act for Don Rickles.
Oh my God.
Anyway, well, so the reason I asked you about George Burns is because he, now I went on to that other story. Now I think I forgot what I wanted to tell you about George Burns. He says, I always open the paper in the morning and I go to the obituaries to see if I'm in it.
And that was one of his jokes, and I do remember that. That's pretty funny. Yeah, but I know a lot of people that actually do that today. Is they'll go, who died? Who's died?
Yeah.
Who do I know that died?
I have a couple of friends that we call each other just to make sure that we're still on what we call the green side. The green side would be where the grass is. The brown side is where the dirt is. So we call each other in the morning just to check, are you on the green side? Yeah, I'm on the green side. So that's something.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, those are ways to keep yourself amused. So, yeah. But actually, I do. I also have a friend that does that too every day because he's in fragile health and a lot of his friends are. So he calls every day to just check in and make sure things are okay. Yeah. But now let's just talk about, why do you think optimism affects longevity?
Well, we know that the science proved that stress causes diseases. Mm-hmm. Contributes, doesn't cause maybe, but certainly contributes and can cause ill health. Ill health means shorter lifespan. So it is my obligation to stay healthy. And in order to do that, I have to reduce my stress, and choosing better emotions reduces my stress. Like if I can't go to sleep because there's some negative chatter playing and playing and playing in my mind, I develop a scenario sometime in the future of me in some setting. Maybe it's on a cruise ship in a beautiful blue sky with clouds, and I make up a story, and I go through that story, and that beautiful story replaces the negative chatter that was keeping me from going to sleep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's just. That's why I think it's because of the stress levels that we get from being negative is like inviting stress. Is it not?
Yeah, for sure. And if you think that whatever's going on right now is only temporary and you're going to be in the future in a good state or a bad state, you're going to be in the future. If you're an optimist, you would also want to face that future in the best state possible. So optimists tend to exercise more, smile more, they're friendlier, they're outreachy, they take care of their health, they take care of their bodies.
So you didn't tell me what we were going to talk about, but now two stories popped up. Okay, so the first story is that I just went to get my driver's license, and my driver's license is like because it was 5 years, and I had to take a new picture, and I was all smiles, and I was like, that's great. I like my picture because it's a smiley picture, and that's who I am. I showed it to a friend of mine, Jeannie, and she said that when she went to get her driver's license, they told her she couldn't smile. She had to retake the picture because she was smiling like that. And she said to the person, she said, but that's how I am. I'm a smiley person. And they wouldn't let her. They made her be a pessimist in her driver's license photo. I'm so grateful that they didn't do that to me because I would have fought it. I don't want to go around with my driver's license that I show, 2 times.
It looks like a mugshot. You don't want to look like
No, I
you're
don't
a
want a
mugshot.
mugshot.
That's random. I've never heard that before.
I
Have
know.
you heard that anywhere else except
Never.
that?
I knew you couldn't wear a hat. I knew
Right.
that you couldn't wear a hat, and I had forgotten I was going to have my picture taken, so I had a hat on. So I fluffed my hair all up so that I could take my hat off. Anyway, the other thing was that way back, I was the producer of a show, Country Tonight, and I was the producer, and I had one particular person in the business was a nemesis. I won't call him an enemy, but a nemesis for certain. We were obliged to work together, and we had wildly different opinions on certain topics. And one day he was so mad at me and I was so mad at him. And he said to me in his worst possible epithet, and he used the F word. So I'll say effing instead of the F word, right? He said, "You're nothing but an effing cheerleader." And I thought,
You're like,
you don't
I agree.
stand me is because I'm too damn cheerful for you.
Oh my God.
I've heard that. I've had to really sort that out. It's a piece of my baggage. That's a piece of baggage for me because it was so invalidated the core of who I am, which I'm sure I'm cheerful for some people. I understand that. Okay. Let's
They're not your people. If you're too cheerful, they're just not your people. That's oil and water, and they'll.
Yeah. you little missy, you're my people.
That's right. It's kind of like you go, well, you're the wrong energy for me. Okay. I totally get it.
Doesn't mean we can't know each other.
Less of you.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we can't even be a friend, but not a friend I'm hang out with or do business with.
That's right. That's exactly right. Don't do business with them.
No.
Doing business with the wrong person is harder than getting a divorce from your, in our case, husbands.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't think a pessimist should marry an optimist.
No.
Or vice versa.
No. But if they did that in the first place, someone needs to open their eyes. They haven't figured it out.
A pessimist can bring an optimist down more easily than an optimist can bring a pessimist up. Now, I just said that because that's what I think. I don't have any science or statistics to prove that that's so.
Absolutely true. Many women, but it's true for men, but since I'm a woman and I know many women think they can change their significant other and that things will get better. Yeah. It's much better to find someone that you're very compatible with, no changes really needed, just growing together needed to make a successful relationship.
Yeah.
So let's just give some advice to people as we're wrapping things up.
Okay.
You wake up in the morning, you do not feel your best. What do you do?
Sing "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning" from Oklahoma, and sing it loud and proud. Oh, what a beautiful morning! Don't sing. Ooh, what you? No, no, no.
Wouldn't it be fun to hear like all these voices coming at the same time in the morning, like all these people singing that? And then
That's
I'll just be like, okay, what's exciting about today? What one thing about today am I looking forward to if the rest of the day isn't shaping up to be the day that I want it to be? So it's finding something to look forward to
so.
or adding something to look forward to my day so
Oh,
that I.
that's good. Add something to look forward to. That's a good.
Mhm.
That's good. I was thinking, this probably won't work, but I know that exercise improves your
Sure
mood,
it is.
right?
Yeah.
And proper nutrition improves your mood. Bad nutrition, I wouldn't say a pessimist should eat more sugar, eat more donuts, and you'll become happier. I don't think that's the key. But
Yeah.
exercise and a good exercise and good healthy nutrition do improve your outlook. They really do. So the first thing that I do after I get out of bed, and by the way, don't read the news first thing. If you're going to read the news, read it mid afternoon so that it's not, doesn't spoil your day and it doesn't keep you from sleeping. Read it around dinner time or something. But, exercise is what I do every morning before I'm allowed to go downstairs where the kitchen is. And so I would
Good.
say some exercise, but for some people that might be like a way to not enjoy the day. But if you can find something that you like dance, even if it's just turn on some Zumba channel on TV and dance,
You can do that. Or if you have no time, just find one thing that you are looking forward to. If you don't have time
I
to
like that.
exercise, you got to get out of there. But there's one other thing that is actually really important. And we're in Florida where it makes it easy, but that's get out into the sunlight.
That's right. That's
Get
right.
some sunlight on your body that increases vitamin D. And without going into, I don't know what the studies are, but there are many, many where places that don't have sunlight have a much higher level of pessimism or depression. So,
Absolutely. Seasonal disorder is a real thing, and you're on PubMed.gov, and you can see the white papers. I lived and worked in Scandinavia, and when I went to Norway in the dead of winter, you could see the depression. And I wasn't depressed because I don't live through a Norway winter, but it's only sunlight for 1 hour.
yeah,
There's only 1 hour of sunlight the whole time. And I found it fascinating because I don't have to live that way. But
right.
they were heavy drinkers and they were very depressed. I maybe not all Norwegians are depressed. I don't mean to say that because I'm Norwegian. I'm Swedish
My
Norwegian.
husband's Norwegian. Same, but his brother lives there now. And yeah, he has his own challenges. And
Well,
what does he
and
do
they
to
have
handle it? He
huh?
goes to the gym.
Well,
That's
they
what
have
he does.
I kept talking over you. I'm sorry. They have lamps for vitamin, like actual sunlight that'll
Sun
provide
lamps.
vitamin D and provide you some happiness in the morning. So get you
Yay.
get you a lamp right by your bed. Turn that on first thing.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up here, but give me your closing thought on this subject: optimism, pessimism, longevity.
Um,
Closing thoughts.
I think longevity partly depends on you knowing that you still have some value here on earth and that you have a sense of purpose for carrying on and living. And because because optimists have more fun, we have a more pleasant existence because it's just more fun to be optimistic. I don't have a study, but it's just more fun. uh, Pessimists are looking at how everything can go wrong. So if that's what you're looking at, that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, I wouldn't want to live to be 90. I've had people tell me that, they don't want, I said, well, how long do you want to go? Oh, maybe another couple of years, you know, because they think, well, I won't have my marbles and I won't have my health. And that's so dreary. It's so dreary. If you
Yeah.
use our tips to change, oh, you'd have to want to go from pessimist to optimist. You're not going to change if you don't want to change. If you want to change from pessimist to optimist, then come hang out with Linda and me.
Exactly right. And so to that, I'm going to add, I'm an exceptionally frugal woman in many areas of my life. And so I hate going to the doctors. I hate spending money on a whole lot of things that I don't know for sure if they're going to work or not. So optimism, if optimism adds years to your life, it's an exceptional tool, then it is the best strategy available for doing that. Choose to live optimistically, costs you nothing to do, and you will add years to your life and enjoy those years.
Yep.
All right. And with that, we are going to wrap up another episode of Platinum Prime for Life. So make sure you're following us, you're following Karen and I individually. We each have our own Facebook pages and identities. I'm at Linda V. Ferguson with the @ symbol, because there are surprisingly other Linda Fergusons in this world. How dare they? And what is your... Are you at Karen? Yeah. How many Karen Nelson Bells do we know?
Well, I went to, no, there are other Karen Nelsons for sure. And I actually have met another Karen Nelson Bell. I met her when I was in Africa. We were both, and she was from the United States and I was working in Africa
Another Karen Nelson Bell?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is surprising.
Pretty wild. But anyway, so what,
right.
I'm KarenNelsonBell.com.
There you go. And I'm LindaFerguson.com.
Okay.
And you can check us out. All right, everyone. Have an amazing week. We will see you again next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.